But I'm gonna go ahead and just start with the first things first. Look, I'm from Chicago. Chicago. So that's what we're going to talk about first. All right. Chicago Bears Stadium, where things stand with that. I mean, look, here's the reality. It's years, we're years from that actually taking place, depending on certain things. But I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can bring up the article here. All right, hold on, guys. Give me a second. Boom. Where's it at? Where's it at? Okay, here we go. All right, so this is where I'm just gonna bring it up, but I got my own notes. Just kind of like so you guys can get a slight image of it. I'm not sure if you guys can actually see it too well. Yeah, okay, no, there you go. Boom. So as of right now, where things stand with the whole stadium move. Let's see. We got more people in the comments. Oh, we got the homie Marcus in the comment section. Gotta head to work, but I came to show some love. Hey, appreciate you stopping by, brother. I mean, if you could even listen in, you know what we're going to talk about. We're going to get there. But hey, be safe on your travels to work. Have a good time at work if you can. But we're here, dog. We are here. But anyways, so as far as the latest on the Chicago Bears Stadium, right? We essentially last left off where Indiana was coming strong, right? With passing pretty much a bill there in their government to make an appealing offer to the Bears to come over there. And that's where it last stood, right? Where they essentially became like the co-front runners, right? And the reason why it was always a co-front runner, not the front runner, even though they probably, again, were coming with a strong offer, but it's just that the reality is the Bears already own this property in Arlington Heights. So there was no way that they were just okay with letting that go. I think what happened here, and it was in this, I saw someone commented this, and I think in one of my TikTok videos, and it's that the Indiana play here, I think the Chicago Bears were entertaining it to have leverage. And it worked because apparently it put a fire under the Illinois governing body it lit a fire under their ass to the point where they decided to then come with their own bill, right? So it's in Illinois, the key piece is a new mega project / pilot bill. These are side notes. I'm not reading off of the article. It's just so you guys can have kind of a visual to where you can also find the article. But a bill that's designed to give the Bears a long-term property tax predictability and help with infrastructure for an Arlington Heights Dome Stadium on the old Arlington Park site that the team owns. A House committee has advanced that mega project bill, sometimes referenced alongside HB 2789 and other measures, but the full House adjourned until mid-March without voting on it. So nothing is finalized yet. Illinois talks center on a package where the Bears invest around $2 billion, seek $300 million from the NFL, and look for roughly $900 million in state support, plus hundreds of millions more in stadium-related infrastructure, all of which still needs legislative sign-off. So again, nothing is set in stone just yet, right? But the reality is this made a big difference. And I'm almost certain now this is where the Bears are leaning. But again, the legislation still has to get passed. It still has to get voted on. But it's at the very least, it's now pushed. It was pushed in the Illinois House of whatever they call it. It's kind of evading me right now. But that's where things stand right now. Again, for Indiana, they're still where they're at. Their General Assembly has now fully passed. Actually, no, they have fully passed it, right? So actually where it stood is that Indiana was also pushing a bill. Apparently it passed. They passed the Senate Bill 27, and Governor Mike Braun has signed it. So it's actually kind of official on their end already, creating a Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority and a clear funding framework for a dome stadium near Wolf Lake and Hammond. The law authorizes roughly $1 billion in public support, bonds backed by an admissions tax, food and beverage taxes, innkeeper's tax, and a special sports development district, with the Bears expected to put in more than $2 billion of their own money and sign a 35-year lease. With this bill signed, Indiana is now shovel ready on the public side. The Bears still have to finish site due diligence and negotiate final terms, but the legal and funding framework is in place. So again, Indiana's ahead as far as like structure and framework, and I guess you could say officiality. You know what I'm saying? Where on the Chicago or Illinois side of things, not even Chicago, forget about it. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of losers, honestly, in governing Chicago. But just greedy, really, greed is what it is. Okay, we got the homie Prince Truck. I gotta shout him out. Chop Shop Vega, you already know what it is, brother. Appreciate you stopping by. Salute to you, brother. Mr. J says, I can't see the Bears moving away. I mean, look, man, I can't either, but nothing's set in stone at this moment. But if we're gonna be honest, it's not. Yeah, I don't see the move. They're not. I'll put it like this. I think the Arlington Heights is the more stronger position they want to be in and what they're looking forward to get into. But it's not like it's the, how do you say? I don't think it's the like. There's still things that just have to go forward for that to actually still take place, pretty much, right? Where, like I said, Indiana here is already, their things are finalized. Their bill passed. It's set in stone. It's now just on the Bears, waiting to see what the Bears say, which again it's good that they're doing that. Whether they're serious or not, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're serious, right? It would be a move for them to get the Bears to move to Hammond, right? That would be a crazy move. And again, like I said in the last episode, look, Hammond awkwardly is a Chicagoland footing area, right? So like you go to Hammond, Indiana, East Chicago, Indiana, and so like think about that. It's called East Chicago, but it's in Indiana. But like all those kind of like towns and cities that that are in the border, of Illinois, but are in Indiana, like they're kind of still considered Chicagoland, So it isn't too crazy, I guess, but still, yeah, it's still weird, right? Like the Bears going to Indiana, but that's how that is. But again, Chicago wants Arlington. They initially wanted, and I said this in the last episode, they initially wanted the Chicago Museum District to be the place where they rebuild, but it was too much money, and the city wasn't willing to like do anything on their part, just being bums about it, and so they weren't able to get city funding or state funding for it. And it would have been a lot more money than what can it possibly happen now here in Arlington Heights, which obviously you saw me talk the numbers. It's still a lot of money, but believe me when I say that Chicago Museum District would have been a whole lot more money. Okay, hold on. First, we got a House of Tradies. Yeah, pretty much. Man, so it's getting closer and closer to the Bears moving to Indy, huh? Sheesh. I mean, like I said, Indiana's serious about it. Like I said, they finalized their deal. They finalized their bill so everything's already in motion, ready for the Bears to move in. All it takes, like I said, the Bears is to go over there, look at the property, whatever, all that, finalize the deal on their end, and it would happen. And boom, it'll happen. And then at that point, it would be 2033. We got the Pencil saying, "I'm digging the new look on the Chop Shop." Hey, appreciate you, bro. I'm trying to do some things, man. We trying to we're trying to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So the reality is I think the Chicago Bears would prefer Arlington Heights, and like I said, it's them entertaining the Indiana deal. I believe gave them the leverage that that put, like I said, that fire under the ass of the Illinois lawmakers. You know what I'm saying? And now here we are where, there's finally a bill being pushed on the Illinois side of things, right? So, but you know what? Let's break that down a bit, right? So we have an understanding of what the Indiana bill looks like. I'm going to go ahead and break down what this bill on the Chicago or Illinois side looks like, right? So remember the bill's HB 2789. You can look it up. It's is a mega project / pilot bill that mainly creates a special property tax and financing framework that the Bears can use for an Arlington Heights Dome Stadium and related development. Core tax and pilot structure would be it creates a mega project property category in the property tax code for projects over a high dollar threshold, roughly in the 500 million plus range, which is tailored to cover a Bears stadium project. Allows such certified mega projects to get an assessment freeze for up to about 40 years, meaning the taxable value used for regular property tax bills is locked instead of rising with improvements. It replaces normal property tax payments with payments in lieu of taxes negotiated between the project's owner, e.g. the Bears, and a board representing local taxing bodies like school districts, etc. Lets the local review board agree on how much the team pays each year and how the money is allocated among schools, villages, and other taxing bodies, again, for up to 40 years. Who qualifies and what projects? Applies only to very large mega projects, which by design captures something to the size of a new NFL stadium and surrounding campus and not ordinary commercial or residential developments. The text does not require the project to be entirely new construction, allowing a relocation from Chicago to Arlington Heights to qualify as long as it meets investment thresholds. Residential property is excluded in the latest draft, so the long tax break would apply to the stadium and possibly some related non-residential components, not to housing in a broader mixed-use districts. The length and scale of the break would be under the current language and committee explanations. The pilot / assessment freeze arrangement can run up for up to 40 years, effectively a decades-long property tax deal. Local coverage describes this as a major property tax break at the Bears' 326-acre Arlington Heights site, with the team paying negotiated pilots rather than full market value taxes over the period. Supporters explicitly tie HB 2789 to the Bears' statement that they need tax predictability before committing about $200 million of private money for a dome stadium on the Arlington Park site. Separate but related, state plans contemplate roughly $850 to $895 million in public funding for infrastructure, roads, transit access, utilities, and site work, serving the stadium and campus, which is politically bundled in the mega project conversation, even if not all that dollar figure sits directly in HB 2789's text. The oversight and local impact would be that it gives the Illinois Department of Revenue a role in certifying which projects qualify as mega project property and therefore can enter into these assessment freeze / pilot agreements. It requires that the local review board representing tax districts sign off on the pilot terms, which is pitched as protecting school districts and other local governments from being cut out of negotiations. Critics argue it sets up a bespoke tax break tool for politically favored projects like the Bears, while broader property tax reform goes unaddressed. And so that's kind of what's being discussed around that bill. Let's see. Hold on, we got kind of went off. See the people in the comment section. Pinzo says Illinois won't vote on it until mid to late March. I know, right? That's the crazy part. That's the other part that's crazy about that is. But here's the thing. I don't think the Bears are in a rush. Again, their lease isn't up till the year 2033. And the reality is that it's not that they have to wait till 2033. I'll put it like that. But that's essentially the time period window that they have. Well, what I was reading, I can't. Those were side notes. What I was reading, those were just like notes that I took separate from the actual article that I posted up. Let's see. Okay, we got a Shy 32 Illinois in the comment section. They basically don't want taxpayers taking a hit for the new stadium. Exactly. No, for sure. And again, it's not a bad move. It's again, the voting doesn't happen till March. So it's just not official yet, which is, again, it's I can understand why to some people they're like, well, damn, Indiana already passed their bill. What if Chicago just goes? What if the Bears just go with that? And it's like, no, they own this property in Arlington Heights. They're not just. I don't think they're just willing and ready to relinquish it. I'm sure their desire is to stay here in Illinois. Again, even though yes, Hammond is Chicagoland, somewhat like of a footprint, it's of the Chicagoland area. It's still Indiana, you know what I mean? So you just can't. I just don't see them getting away with that. You know what I'm saying? It's that's kind of crazy talk. You know what I mean? I see still in the background. Let me see if he's ready to hop in. We'll go ahead and bring him up. Yo, Sil, are you there?
Yeah.
Yo. There we go. What's going on, homie?
What's going on, man? It's been a minute.
I'm not sure. Are you up to date with the Chicago Bears stadium deal?
Now, I was just listening to you breaking it down, man. I didn't know it's pretty much that close to being in Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're definitely a lot further in the steps for sure. But again, there's no rush, so I don't think the Bears are rushing to make a deal here.
Mm-hmm.
It's
they're in the driver's seat though. I mean, after this hot season, like they can.
That's what I'm saying.
You know
right.
What I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. So they have all the leverage they need, I think, to let's see. We got Pin Zone in the comment section. Said governor signed. Bill already in Indiana. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. The bill already passed in Indiana. It's set. They're essentially just waiting on the Bears now. Bears keep waiting for Illinois to pull the trigger, which again, rightfully so.
Oh, yeah.
They own this 326 acres of land in Arlington Heights.
This business, y'all. That's all it is.
It's business, exactly.
Well, let me ask you though, because like I said, we're both, basically lifelong Bears fans. Like,
yeah,
are we? Do we feel some kind of way if they take this Indiana deal? Like, I do rather it's something. Okay, let me just say this. Like,
yeah, go ahead.
It feels some kind of way, right? Being in Illinois, right? Like I feel that, but again, I understand the business with this. If I want the best stadium ever, and if they're kicking it, like if it's more benefits going across the state line, people know it's Chicago Bears. So, I mean, like I said, I'm kind of torn. I'm a little torn because it's the sentiments of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. I trust me. I get it. Again, it's not you're not wrong there. And again, like I said, Hammond, Indiana is technically Chicagoland.
It is Chicago. Yeah, because we probably both been through there several times. It's practically Chicago.
It's practically Chicago. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'll put it like this. And this is a crazy maybe analogy to use, but I'll put it like this, man. Gang warfare. Across the board.
If we're gonna keep it real, if we're gonna keep it real,
just to keep that a buck, you know what I'm saying?
I say Hammond, like literally, it's like you make like a left turn, and all of a sudden you're in Indiana.
Yeah,
and if you turn back right, you're back in Illinois. Like it's literally what that is.
so it's like
I ain't mad at it.
It's not that crazy technically, you know what I'm saying? But it's the idea of like Indiana though. I'm sure that's the part that a lot of us would have to still like. I guess swallow.
It meant something, and maybe like it's great. We just had that playoff game, and it was in Chicago at Soldier Field, and like we had the Packers there, and it's like that meant something that it was in Chicago.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So 100%. That's the only thing, because it's like, okay, if they take this deal in the next 2 seasons, I think our team's gonna be contending level.
Yes, 100%.
And it will mean something for that NFC Championship game to be in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? That's just
No, you're right on the money with that. The reality is them moving wherever they move. Here's the reality: like when people think about why the Bears struggle, and I'm not saying that. I'll put it like this. Hold on. I'm not gonna pretend like the Chicago Bears haven't been cheap for like a long time. You know what I mean? Regarding how they, draft and how they, pick players, whatever, and sign deals and things like that, whatever, trades and stuff. But a part of that problem also was the high taxes we're paying here in the city for this, for the lease we have. You know what I mean? And all that stuff. So either way, if they go to Hammond in the end, although I will say, Arlington Heights is still the better deal. They own that property, so they're not. They wouldn't be leasing it. They own it. So that would give them the most financial like opening. You know what I'm saying? To start actually like aggressively building on this team that looks ready. That looks like it's ready to go far. And they can be we can be a force to reckon with for the next couple of years.
Well, because with this stadium, because it's forward thinking, right? You build this new stadium, you're talking about hosting the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So that's why this, again, if we had a chance to host Super Bowl, it's like I would want it in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Like I would want it. It's like a part of me is like, dang, like, because when we get a new stadium, we're going to host a Super Bowl, like
100%,
8 years from now or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And
100%.
It's like, but again, people know, like the local people, if they know that they know Hammond is cool. Arlington area, it's. I'm just, it's a little nitpicks. That's all.
Yeah, no, for sure. Let's see. We got Shy 32 Illinois said, "Did you hear about Svengoli trying to make a pitch about bringing the Bears to Berwyn?" You know what? I didn't hear. Someone else brought that to my attention the last time I went live. I didn't hear about the pitch. That's actually interesting. And they brought up Berwyn as well, which was not in my mind. I'm like, you know what? If we're okay with Hammond because it's like Chicagoland, Berwyn or Cicero isn't a bad idea either, because that's borderline, like it's borderline Chicago. Like it's like
I don't know. Penzone feel like that's going too far. I don't know. In the chat, they don't like that. It was with you with Hammond, but it was like, hold on.
Yeah, right. Mr. J, saluting you.
Shout out to Mr. J. Yeah, for sure. That's the homie.
Vegas is practice. I'm not sure what that is coming.
Oh, Vegas is practically LA, Oakland. Well, that's a stretch. And he's joking, but that's a stretch. He's a Raiders fan, right? So
okay, right.
You got the LA Raiders or Oakland Raiders. Now they're in Vegas,
right?
So they're just like,
I see what he's saying. He's making the comparison of like if the Bears do go to Hammond,
we can't. We the Bears. We can't do that.
Yeah, that's no. Yeah, exactly. Because look, here's the thing. We have, as much as there's this rivalry between us and the Packers, there's the second rivalry after that is either probably Minnesota or the Colts, I would say.
Oh, okay. So you're putting Colts up there. Okay.
I'd only say that because we still have a bone. Exactly. We have a bone to pick with them in the Super Bowl. You feel me?
Peyton got us,
we didn't forget about that one. You feel me?
But I still put Detroit before. I'm gonna be honest, like as an honest Bears fan. I mean, and we're talking about growing up as Bears fans. Obviously, Packers. I put Detroit up there actually for some reason before Minnesota.
Okay.
For some reason, I look at Minnesota, I'm like, okay, that's cute. You got purple jerseys, like that's, hey, much respect to Minnesota. That's like, the legend artist Prince from Minnesota. I feel it, but I more want to like whip up on Detroit before Minnesota. And if you're saying like you're talking about getting your lick back, that's why you said the Colts. So
that's why I said the Colts. Yeah.
Because they got us in the Super Bowl. So
that's all I'm saying. They got us in the Super Bowl.
Because to this day, Tom Brady always talks about the Eagles beating him in the Super Bowl. Now he got him one time before with Donovan McNabb, but he was like that last one when they got us with the backup quarterback. He was like he had a bone to pick, just like the Giants, right? He's like, that's not like a real regular season rivalry, Patriots Giants, but it's that significance that they got you twice in the Super Bowl. So that's why the Colts is like, So that's my second team. That's a weird thing. Though. That's my second team. So that's a weird feeling.
Right. No, right. Yeah, that's true. See, but here's what's funny about that is that when you're talking about that Chicagoland, that's Indiana, you know what I'm saying? When you're talking like Hammond, East Chicago, Gary, even when you go a little further into like Cherville or Maryville, whatever, those kind of like they're still heavily packed with Chicago Bears fans. That's what's crazy. So that's why that's why to me it's not that far fetched with the whole Hammond move.
No, let's say I'm more rocking with Hammond than any. If we're going to do Indiana, because like I said, you go to Hammond, like it's Bears City. I mean, they got the merch. They all with it. So
I'll never let it go, bro. I'll never let it go.
He probably from Chicago.
Here's the thing, y'all don't understand. I had to deal with. Here's the thing. So I went to school that year at Lake Central High, which was in Cherville, I believe, or one of those towns, because I was staying with my sister, and this is how I know that whole like part of Indiana, there's still very much Chicago Bears fans, heavy. I mean, to the point that the school, the kids in school, we were split. Like we were having like almost like war, like just brawls because of the Bear in Indiana.
It's funny for that Super Bowl. I went to because I have family, in the Midwest and other areas, but I went to South Bend, Indiana for when that Super Bowl happened. So South Bend, Indiana, that's Notre Dame town for people that's not from there. And so that's right by the border of Michigan as well. But it's like about a 90-minute drive from Chicago.
Right.
And that was heavily Bears area in Indiana. South Bend, that's much further from Hammond.
Right.
And that household was torn out there because they was in the middle of Indiana. And there was still a lot of Bears fans in Indiana. Right. So, like I said, Indiana is technically Bears. Northern part of Indiana is Bears
northern
country.
Part of Indiana is very much Bears country.
Yeah,
very much. Like you said, Hammond, Indiana, they root for the Bulls, not the Pacers, 100%.
Yeah.
They cheer the Bears, not the Colts.
That's what we're saying. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I get it. That's why I'm not too. I guess I'm not too bent on the fact that they'd move there if they do. But I gotta say, I think I prefer Arlington Heights simply because at least it's Illinois, right? It's like, it's not Indiana. It's not.
The more I think about it, though, I think we could get away with him because, like, the locals will represent. The locals will totally represent and rock for the Bears, the Chicago Bears.
It's just like, exactly. But that's the thing. Like, now do they still call themselves the Chicago Bears? You know what I mean? Because are we cool with the Hammond Bears? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you better, like, if you go to Hammond, you gotta stay Chicago Bears. You gotta stay Chicago
That's
Bears.
Brandon. You can't be nothing else but Chicago Bears. Like, you can't be like Mr. JC, the Vegas Raiders. You can't do that. You can't go out there like that. You can't go out like that.
We cannot. Okay, we got a meme in the chat. He says, yo, meme here saying, what up, y'all? What up, dude? What it do?
No mean.
So, but yeah, man. So yeah, I'm look, man. If they go to Hammond, I'm not too bent over it, but a part of me still leans towards Arlington Heights, and I only say that just because it's still Illinois. It's there's I feel there's more of a shot of them being able to do more with that than what they're going to be able to do. But again, we still have yet to see this. I can't speak too far ahead. Like I'm kind of speaking too far ahead when I say this because this all hinges on the fact of whether or not the bill that's being pushed right now to be voted on in Illinois even gets voted on and pushed forward and passes. Because without that, then it's none of this matters, and then Indiana's really talking business here.
Money's gonna talk. Like, what's the best deal?
And that's why this episode's called Money Talks.
There you
go. Money Talks, man. Right now, Indiana's talking about their money.
Big business.
So we'll see where that goes, man. But man, dude, obviously we're gonna get into I'm gonna save the Zack Snyder thing for the end. Because I feel like that's just the way to properly encapsulate this discussion, right? Initially, I wasn't actually going to do that. This is like the Zack Snyder interview that he just that was like an audible like on my end. Like I'm like, oh snap! I was going to piggyback off the politics I was talking about last week, but I'm like, no, I got to talk about the Zack Snyder interview. But before we go there, obviously we have to talk. We have to talk about the Warner Brothers bid and how money talks. And money talks, right? I mean, look, I'm gonna bring it up, guys. And y'all gonna see here. I'm just gonna let y'all read the headline. Hold on. Before I lose you. The Pen Zone said, think about it real quick. Indiana has bent over backwards for Bears, and they still haven't fully agreed. They waiting on 100%. That's a fact. They're waiting on Illinois
because that's going to benefit Indiana big time. So I get it why, again, in northern Indiana, is really going to rock with it. But so yeah, like it's just business, right? Money talks. That's all.
That's all it is, man.
Perfect title.
That's what the title is. Money talks, man. But we